I teach? Elisha was a farmer until he made a decision. A prophet of the double portion, but no evidence. Joshua, until he made the right decision to meditate on the law of Moses, he did not prosper. I want us to read John chapter number 3. John chapter number 3, the story of Nicodemus. From verse number 1. Let me read it for you. Follow me. Now there was a Pharisee. Can somebody say Pharisee? A man named Nicodemus, who was a member of the Jewish ruling council. He came to Jesus at night. Can you say at night? Does that sound familiar? Yeah, because we all come at night. I told you the first dimension of desire is at night. He came to Jesus at night and he said, Rabbi. He said to Jesus, oh, Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher who has come from God. For no one can perform the signs that you are doing if God was not with them. This man was deep. He was not a normal Pharisee. He's the only Pharisee that identified with Jesus. He came to Jesus at night. He said to Jesus, Rabbi, we know that you are a teacher who has come from God. For no one can perform these signs that you are doing if God was not with him. And Jesus looked at Nicodemus and discerned him. He said to Nicodemus, Nicodemus, very truly I tell you, no one can see the kingdom of God unless they are born again. Now Nicodemus replied, how can someone be born again when they are old, when they are already an apostle? I'm already a bishop. How can someone be born again when they are old? Surely they cannot enter a second time into their mother's womb to be born. And Jesus answered him, very truly I tell you, no one can enter the kingdom of God unless they are born of the water and the spirit. Flesh gives birth to flesh, but the spirit gives birth to the spirit. You should not be surprised at my saying, you must be born again. The wind blows wherever it pleases. You hear its sound, but you cannot tell where it is coming from or where it is going. So it is everyone that is born of the spirit. How can this be? Nicodemus asked. You are a teacher in Israel, Jesus answered him, yet you don't understand these things. Let me rephrase this thing. You are already a pastor, you are already an apostle, a prophet, and you don't understand this thing. How will you understand heavenly things if you don't understand earthly things? I have spoken to you of earthly things you don't believe. How then will you believe if I speak to you heavenly things? Let me say something to us. Can I say something to us? I have realized something very interesting. The conversation about being born again is not the conversation of salvation. Let me explain something. I believe Nicodemus was saved. Ask me how. The criteria of salvation is believe in your heart, confess with your mouth. How did you get saved? You believed in your heart, you confessed in your mouth. Nicodemus came to Jesus and said, I believe you are from God. I believe that God is with you. I believe nobody can do the signs that they are doing unless God was with them. I believe in you. What Nicodemus was looking for is not salvation. He was looking for manifestation. I came to realize that the born again experience is not the conversion from the world to God. Born again is the conversion from a Christian to a son. Let me explain something. There are many people that are doing ministry in the realms of salvation, yet ministry is done in the realm of the born again experience. Nicodemus was not looking for salvation. He was a secret follower of Jesus. Nicodemus went to get the power to operate the supernatural like Jesus. He was saying, I am a teacher of the law, but I don't see signs. Nicodemus is the typical pastor who has a small church that is not manifesting signs. Oh, you no longer like me? Let me show you. There are many pastors that should change the name of their church from evangelistic this to Nicodemus International. Because Nicodemus is a dimension of desire before decision. Jesus looked at Nicodemus and said, you Nicodemus, Nico, najua ile kitu unatafuta. Wewe unatafuta power. Ile kitu unatafuta ni miujiza, ishara na nini? Na maajabu. Kwa sababu wewe ni mwalimu na hauna dhihirisho. So watu wanakufuata kidogo alafu wanaondoka. Ile kitu umeweka kwa posta hauwezi manifest. Nicodemus was a teacher par excellence, but he was in the ninth dimension of ministry. He only had desire, but he lacked decisions and manifestation. After today you will see signs and wonders. Nicodemus was not looking for salvation. Nicodemus was looking for ministry. Give me what you have that makes people follow you and get healed and get delivered. The thing that is making your ministry grow. I said, Nico, well, you are a good Christian, but you are still a child. Do you understand that there's a difference between being a child of God and a son of God? Yes. A child of God is when you are saved. When you get saved, you are a child of God. Yes. But to be anointed is to be a son.